right? So how is he going to collect data? He will probably go to different websites like NSTL or different analysis websites and download the data. Then he will do calculate ratios and proportions. So I hope you guys have like gone through that ratios and proportion finance course in your first year. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right. So how do I know, right, which stock to buy, which to sell? I will look at the ratios. But to calculate these ratios, I need to collect data. Right. Now the same thing RPA robot can do, and what it can do is while the trader is off his working hours, RPA robot can look at all the you can tell the robot, okay, go to these websites and find the data for these stocks and
Hmm.
compile a report. So when he comes into the morning in his office, a report is already there in his email inbox telling him, okay, you requested the information about falling stocks yesterday. These are the information, right? These are ratios and proportions. These are what are trading volumes and everything for last 7 days. Based on that, now he can simply make a decision. Now, since he is now only doing this part of a task, he can actually do more work. Or basically, he can focus more on the actual work rather than non-value added activity. And that is what makes RPA so valuable in the current scenario. Now, like we said, we already had automation earlier also. So, what is so great about RPA? Okay, why is it something that is trending nowadays? Thing is, with RPA, you do not need to make any kind of changes to your software application, right? Normally, if I have to do automation, I would have to go to the code or write some kind of code, and that means making changes to application. Now, it has one very teeny tiny problem. What if I want to automate an application that is not my own, right? Let us say I want to automate the inputting data into Aadhaar website. Now, Aadhaar website, I don't own Aadhaar website, right? And government is unlikely to give me access to it. So, uh, what will I do in that case, right? So, in that case, RPA is a very good tool to use. Why? Because with RPA, underlying application, I don't need to change in any way. Since we are automating something from the interface itself, right? Just a way human being is putting data in, let's say, other website, the robot will do the same thing from front end. So I don't need to change the application in any way. And since I don't need to change it, I don't need any permissions. Second, it could be genuinely possible that even if application is your own, it does not support automation. Now this happens specifically in banking and financial processes where the core applications were written 30, 40, 50 years ago in COBOL language. Okay, and even today we are using the same applications, the core banking applications or even the core travel applications. They were written like in 1980s in COBOL, and this is the language that did not support any kind of automation. So there we can use RPA tool to automate it. Now normally, what kind of things we can automate, or what kind of benefit it does, right? If you look at RP tools, you have low risk, non-invasive technology. That means I don't need to change the code of the application. RP tool simply sits on a top layer of the application, and works in the same way a human being would work. Accuracy, right? It has a very high accuracy. And now, normally with RPA, we automate simple processes, like copy and paste processes. Uh, okay. Now, uh, how many? Uh, how many of you are aware about what BPO stuff do?
Outsourcing.
Right. But what kind of things do they normally get outsourced? Okay, not really. Normally, what happens in BPO, the tasks that are really simple are the ones that get outsourced. Okay, and I'll be taking a BPO course later on as well, and we probably will cover in that. But what happens is, think about a simple data entry job, right? What I'm doing is I'm reading something from a, let us say, insurance. There's an insurance form that customer has filled in, right? Now, that customer and the company, they are both in
Faizan,
US.
Faizan, please mute yourself.
Sorry.
No, sir, I'm talking to Faizan. Please,
Oh, okay, okay,
you can proceed, sir.
right. Okay, so let us say there is a company in US which needs to do data entry of the physical form it has received, right, into their application. Now they want to outsource because in US it will take $8 per hour, whereas India it will take $8 per day, right? And internet really makes it easy to send the work here, right? So you send the image of the form to somebody in India who reads it, what no the data from the image and puts it into the application, right? Or let us say even from an Excel sheet into the application, simple data entry. So there RPA is a good candidate because it will always be accurate. It will never make a mistake. It will always be consistent. It will always be reliable. Why? A human being might get sick or might take days off and listing. RPA, no need for that, right? Retention, employees leave, robots do not leave. Scalability, right? Let us say you have more work. It is really difficult to hire more workers on short term, but it is really easy to run another copy of a software to handle their workload. And speed. Even though RPA is not the most speediest of the solution, it is still faster than a human being, right? So these are all the reasons or benefits of why companies choose to work as RPA. Now, what happens is all the things that were previously being outsourced, okay, will now be automated instead. For simple reason, because automation brings down the cost further, even lower than the outsourcing, right? And if we talk about the kind of processes that get outsourced, things like payroll management, calculation of salary, uh, filling up the data entry forms, simple things, or let us say in insurance processes where we have to assess whether how much payout to give based on some information. Simple processes are the ones that normally get outsourced. They are the same processes which will be automated in the future. So the term itself came in 2012 uh, from Phil Freshett, and he was a research analyst at HFS. And this technology was in development from 2012 to 2018, and from 18 onwards, it exploded in popularity. Right. So today, it is one of the fastest growing application. All right. And what has happened is this has happened for two reasons. One, it is cheaper to automate than to outsource. Second reason is outsourcing for whatever reason has attracted a lot of political there's a lot of politics around outsourcing in a lot of countries. If you look at advanced countries now, there is a lot of this thing that okay, why is our job being outsourced? We are not getting jobs, right? So there is a lot of backslash against outsourcing. Okay, and India being a major outsourcing destination has gotten some of this backlash, and politicians have tried to bring the laws to prevent outsourcing. But it is very difficult to fight against automation, right? Uh,
Sir, this means now outsourcing will be replaced by automation?
no, no, not real, not totally. What will happen is the outsourcing companies themselves are going for automation. So earlier, what used to happen was simple tasks used to get come to country like India for outsourcing. Now that will be taken care by the automation, and what we will get in outsourcing is a bit more complex tasks,
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
right? The core task will always remain with the advanced companies. But again, earlier, think about when we had this when we were at the beginning of BPO boom. what kind of processes we were working on. These were mostly working on, inbound call centers, outbound call centers, calling people, filling out the, verifying the forms, verifying the information. Let us say, SIM card, simple. I go and buy a SIM card, and I submit my documents. There's somebody who verifies that, but that person or that entity is normally an outsourced. It is not part of the core company, right? Same with if you go and fill out a form in a bank to open a bank account, domestically or otherwise. Bank itself does not do the data entry. What it does, it collects all the form data received on a day and send it to somebody to the data entry. Normally, that is a third party that bank has verified. Okay, or sometimes if you have, if you've taken loan or credit card and you get a call, okay, sir, your payment is due, and we are sending somebody to collect it. That all is also outsourced. Bank itself does not do that, right? So what happens with in normal scenario is companies like to work only on their core activity and outsource things that are non-core, right? So that those things, those simple things will also be automated. Some of them will get automated in-house. Some of them will get automated by the BPOs and KPOs themselves. Okay. So now what is going to happen again in the future is we will have a concept of virtual workforce, right? Up till now, you only had human colleagues. Okay, if you become a manager, you have to manage human colleagues, basically doing their performance appraisals or assigning them work, getting work done from them. Going forward, what will happen is you will have a mix of human colleagues and robotic colleagues, right? So your next colleague might be a robot, right? And human beings will be doing the like high end work. Robots will be doing the low end work. Right? So this virtual workforce concept is a robotic worker is just like a human being, a human worker, right? So just as a human worker has schedule, a robot has a schedule. Just like a human worker has a unique email ID and a unique employee ID and everything in the organization, same is also applicable for a robotic worker. Just as you get a laptop or a desktop machine when you join a company, robot also has its own machine and own system and its own credentials to access whatever applications it needs to access.
Abhinav, how will you identify the person with whom you are working, whether it's a robo, RPA, or it is a human being? Hello? Yeah. I think Abhinav has got locked out. Network. Has left the meeting. Actually, this is useful for both first year, second year.
But see the strengths, sir. Nobody has joined. They're not interested also for the session.
And because many of these things we'll be discussing in our BPM course also, both by Abhinav and me. I just started the course this week only, and I was explaining the basics of the process. So what Abhinav is talking about is the advanced level, how to automate these processes. Whereas I am going to analyze only the how processes improved, how to make a process flow chart and things like that. So basic level. So I think this will be very useful, and as Abhinav said, this is going to be the future career.
Yes.
Tomorrow, many of our friends, both first year, second year, they may come across this sort of situation where they have to work with a RPA, bot they call it, bot or chat bot. I think that we'll ask Abhinav. So it is a very interesting situation. This is what somebody predicted. Gartner has predicted next 4 or 5 years, 60-70% of the current jobs will go away. Yes, Abhinav, you are back.
Yes, sorry, sir. I did not realize got disconnected.
I know. So Kargar also network problem. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So yeah, yeah. So I was talking about one of my clients. You know, her name is Anita Dongre. She's a fashion designer. Anybody heard of her?
Yeah. Famous. Number one.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of people actually haven't. So they have like about 50-60 showrooms in Mumbai only. Okay.
Right.
And one of the process was there was a HR lady whose only job was to log into that particular showroom remotely, log into the attendance machine. So attendance machine was like simple swipe card machine,
Okay.
right? And how they take attendance was your first entry in the day is your in time, your last entry out is your out time.
Oh.
And you might have like multiple entries in between,
Correct.
right? But first entry is in time and last entry is out time,
Yes.
right? And each showroom has like 3 to 4 employees only.
Okay. Yeah.
So 50 showrooms in Mumbai, and the lady's only job is to log into that particular machine remotely, copy the attendance file, which was like a text format, copy the attendance file, take the data from it, put in an Excel file in a particular format,
right,
and ultimately collect all the data in Excel file, then upload the Excel file to HRMS system.
Okay.
Let us say it took her 3 minutes to do each showroom. Connect to that particular showroom, copy paste the data into Excel file, log out, and do everything.
Okay.
So for 50 showrooms, it used to take her like at least half a day. Right. And ultimately, what is the output of that? A properly properly formatted file
Excel sheet
that goes into the HRM system so that attendance could be accurately calculated.
Okay.
Now we can say, okay, this is an important job because people need to get paid correct amount, right? Fair enough. But do any of you think there is any kind of learning in this kind of job?
Very monotonous.
No, right? There's like no learning. What? So if you are in this kind of job, what will happen? What will you do?
After some time, they'll get fed up and go.
Okay. Yeah.
Because of human intervention, there are chances of this errors happening.
Errors, we are not. I mean, there's there are chances are happening, but we are not talking about errors right now.
Yeah.
I am saying if let us say you get this kind of a job, okay, starting salary itself is good. Let us say starting salary is also 4 to 5 lakhs. So you say, hey, I want a job, right? This looks like okay kind of job. You go there, you do it for how much? So how much time do you think you will stay in this kind of job? That's what I'm asking.
For hardly 1.5 year.
1.5 year. That's right, right? And then you will say, hey, what am I doing? Right? How will I have growth in this kind of a job?
Right.
So what will do? You will quit, right? But the job needs to be done because it is boring and dead end job, but it is still important job, right? So what will organization now do? It will hire another person, and that cycle will repeat, right? So hiring also is not an easy activity. It still costs a company a lot of money, right? Somebody needs to be onboarded. The background verification needs to be checked. Then the person needs to be trained, not only in the process, but also, in other things of, how to interact with other members in the organization. And there are a lot of mandatory trainings that needs to be given to him or her. So that all costs money, right? But this is a really good example of what can be automated. A robot can easily do this. A robot will go on doing it forever, right? And it will never quit. And the cost of the robot in this case will be way lower than a human being. And since this
it never get tired also.
Never get tired also. It will do 24/7. Not only that, it can scale easily. So if you have 100 showrooms tomorrow, all you need to do is run the exact same program one more time on a different machine. That's all.
Only thing is it requires reliable net connectivity, net and then power supply and other things, infrastructure.
Yeah. So something that can simply be done from a data center.
Okay.
I can take up an Amazon AWS virtual machine
Right.
and run my software from that center. I don't even have to do the maintenance of that data center. Amazon will take care of it.
Yeah. Data centers are 24/7. Full.
24/7. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So that is the kind of things that normally gets automated.
Okay.
Right. Similarly, you have accounts receivable and accounts payable. So
And
any of
just to interject, you have done this project for her, Anita?
sorry.
You have done this project for Anita?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. How long it took for automation?
It was very simple. So it takes about 3 months to automate this thing.
Oh, and they are using this.
Yeah.
And how long they are using this?
I mean, I actually did this 2 or 3 years back, so I don't know whether what the current status is.
Oh, very good.
Basically, I was re-engineering their processes
Uh,
because they were getting some kind of money from some investment bank,
right.
BlackRock or something like that. So they wanted to show that they are a professional company. Whereas what happens is they are actually a family-run business,
Correct.
right? So they were transitioning to being a more professional listing. Now I think they are been taken over by Reliance or something.
Right. Anita has taken over because each of her dress costs anywhere a few lakhs. Actually.
Yeah, because each one is custom made.
Custom made. Absolutely. She's the number one top designer.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good example.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can we make use of TPS as you discuss about this HR stuff? Instead of AWS, can we make use of a TPS here, TPS system? Like it will
I
collect the information from the base itself
you,
regarding
you,
employee
you
data,
can
everything.
make use of any system that supports it. That is not the point. Like the point of it was to show you how there are dead end jobs that are still important, right?
Okay.
So this was like one of the simplest examples I could think of. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So the way it is different from traditional automation is it does like all the steps through user interface or front end rather than doing things back end.
Right. Akshay, what happens is you also have to make the cost comparison. No? Your TPS or whatever you're calling about. How
Yes.
much it costs? How much it costs to maintain vis-a-vis RPA? What Abhinav is talking about.
Okay.
Yes.
I do not know much of like about EPS, right?
TPS, sir. TPS.
DPS.
Transactional Process System.
TPS.
Okay. TPS. Okay. No, a transitional process system is something different. Like ERP would be an example of a transition processing system, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But who operates the ERP? A human being does.
Yes.
What if another software were to operate the ERP itself? Right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, got it.
It's
So
next level.
yeah, next level. A software operating another software.
Right.
Right.
Right? Okay. At this point, let me take you through a video. Okay. Of a RPA example for RPA. Okay. So just to give you this thing, what you see on the right hand side, a kind of flowchart is the RPA tool. Okay. And this is a simple onboarding process where you have mailed your documents, okay, like mark sheets and experience certificates to HR, and they are going to read the documents normally and do a data entry into your TPS kind of system. And this example shows how a bot does it. So that is just for your context.
Any audio is there or is there only video?
So all this is being done by robot itself.
Okay. Yeah, it is moving from block to block. but you have to organize all these documents electronically in some sequence.
Sorry.
You have to first what do you call take all these documents, download and put them in some file or folder.
No.
Acha.
Everything is whatever you are seeing on the screen is being totally done by bot. So what you see on the left hand side
Ah.
is bot doing it. What you see on the right hand side is the structure of that process
Okay.
inside the bot.
Yeah,
So you
but
take
unless I submit the document to the company, then
yeah.
RPA will take over.
Yes. So it will auto. So what the our bot does it continuously monitors the inbox.
Okay. Oh, mailbox. Okay.
Yeah, it is continuously monitoring the inbox, and as soon as it receives the message, okay. For example, with this thing, new joiner form, okay,
Okay.
it will go into action and start doing all these things.
And RPA has got its own email ID.
Yes,
It's like
That-
Sir, how does this look? RPA means it's like a robot or it's just like a machine.
so you can see on the right hand side, it is a flow chart. But
No, like physically, I'm talking about. If you're
there is
saying
no
na-
physics. No, that is a good. There is no physical thing here.
Okay,
RPA is a software program running on
Okay,
your
okay,
desktop,
okay.
laptop, or server.
Okay, fine, got it.
It is virtual world.
It is a virtual worker, right?
Okay.
So if you are expecting like a physical robot, no, sorry, that is still not there. Like I said, it is a software controlling other softwares.
Right. So that is why I'm saying after some time all these guys will feel weird, Suddenly somebody talking to you or somebody sending a message to you. Okay.
Yes, but that person or somebody interacting with you is not a real person, and you will not be able to tell the difference.
Okay.
We already are at the level where RPA can solve CAPTCHA.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not talking about simple CAPTCHA. I'm talking about that CAPTCHA where you have to select the right kind of image, whether this is a bus or this is a street.
Okay.
We are already at that level.
Which means, in fact, these people require training to how to work with RPA also as a colleague.
Yes. I mean, but the thing is, RP is really easy to learn.
Sir, but malpractices will increase then.
How so?
Malpractices?
No. And they will decrease. See,
but if CAPTCHA and all these are being read by this very easily, then
yeah, I mean there is a constant war between people trying to automate and websites trying to resist automation.
Okay.
So they will also have to become much more sophisticated. Yeah, in that sense, I get your point.
Data privacy.
Yeah, data privacy is one concern because RP bot can simply go on a social media website and scrap your data, right? So LinkedIn is one example. As a matter of fact, I used to, when I started my business, I used to do that, automatically scrapping of data.
Oh, okay.
To reach more and more customers. Again, very easy to do nowadays.
So data privacy and data security, these are very important.
Yes, that is going to become a bigger and bigger challenge.
Right.
Okay.
So in between, some Word document is coming. That is the document.
Yes, so it is automatically reading the document.
Right.
What I thought that there would be a robot sitting next to us who would be physically there and he might be working, doing some kind of work. That is what my image was.
Especially this will happen in all BPOs.
Yes.
So it is giving here. The bot specifically reads the info stored at the website to cross-check with the new joiner information. Bot with PeopleSoft Oracle joiner profile.
So this is your TPS system where bot is, doing data entry.
Right.
By the way, we have just purpose showing this video has been purposely slowed down. Otherwise, bot runs at 10 times the speed. For this whole thing. So this video, if you look at, is 1 minute 37 seconds. So it's about 2 minutes 21 seconds video. Okay. In actuality, bot completes all this thing in 30 seconds. The whole thing.
Fantastic. That means you can replace so many human beings.
Yes. So all RP projects by nature are FT reduction projects only.
Yeah.
FT stands for full-time employees.
In fact, that is what I love. When you are off the line in between, I was
Hmm.
telling our friends that there is a Gartner report which says next 4 to 5 years, 60 to 70% of the manual jobs will be wiped out.
Yes, it is already happening. Even as we speak, even as we are doing this, it is already happening.
Including marketing, sales, operations also. On the shop floor automation with IoT and cloud. Okay, everything is going to automate. So better we learn something new. Otherwise it's going to be tough.
Yeah, so learn RPA, learn how to make bots. Much more easier than other things.
Right.
This I will tell you one thing, guys. The barrier to entry in RP is very very low.
Oh,
It is something where it is very easy to learn, and right now has a huge demand.
oh,
And because it has a huge demand, like salaries are very high.
okay.
I had a student who learned RP from me like 2 years ago, around somewhere in 20
Yeah.
or 19, like December 1920, and got a starting salary. He was a fresher, so got a starting salary of 5 to 6 lakhs.
Oh,
And today his salary is about 13, 14 lakhs in
oh,
2 years.
fantastic. Where is Mumbai?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, because I taught him over the net, so really physical location doesn't matter.
Okay, okay.
Going forward, also your physical location is not going to matter. Most of the work is going to be like remote.
That is why now many people are shifting to their hometown, work from home. That is why.
Yeah,
RPI will help them work from home.
right. So,
So what about the cost factors of this
so
software? Cost.
I'll tell you. One of the as we go ahead in workshop, uh, one of the questions when we automate something is the cost should be less than the manual.
Achha.
Okay. Now the theoretical question goes like this: one person can at maximum work for 8 hours a day.
Yeah,
Okay, that is the very best case scenario.
correct.
Normally, if you look at how much you work, and we only work 5 to 6 hours a day.
Correct. 4 to 5 hours.
Pro-
Right.
Yeah, productively. So we have our lunch break, we have coffee breaks, we have some idle time.
Right.
Basically, we don't work more than 6 hours a day. No, let us say 9 hours shift.
Right.
Okay, and being human beings, we require holidays, we have sick days, we have family emergencies, we have a life going on. A RP robot, on the other hand, can work 24/7.
Oh,
So, theoretically, one RPA robot replaces three full-time employees. Theoretically, in reality, the robot itself needs to be managed. So, in reality, the actual number of FTs is about 1.5 to 2, not more than that,
oh, okay.
right? So, where you have a loss of jobs at low end, you also have a creation of jobs at a higher end,
Ah,
much more, right? So, for every one BPO type of job that is lost, two RPA jobs are created,
oh, okay, okay.
right? And a BPA job might be paying 5 lakh rupees at max. RP job will pay you 10, 15 lakh rupees.
Okay.
But that is the message that needs to like kind of go out that okay, upgrade now. You have to.
Abhinav, I have a question. Can
Yeah.
a 24/7 refinery or a steel plant or a power plant can be run by RPA?
Yes. Yes. Not even that. Like mobile. I'll tell you one simple example. Telecom, right? In
Yeah.
telecom, there are reports from like you have to get the report from antenna how much traffic the antenna is handling, and based on
Okay.
that they optimize the antennas weekly or monthly basis. Okay.
Ah,
Or you have a compliance reports. Compliance reports are demanded by government or authorities, but they have actually no business value, right? Or anti-money laundering, a simple
ah,
process of anti-money laundering where you just have to figure out with somebody if there's unusual transaction and check those name of the person in from various government databases.
right.
All this nowadays is being done by RPA.
Oh,
Already done. Vodafone, whichever provider of it is, whether it's Airtel or Vodafone or whatever it is, they're all using it.
which means they replace army of clerks and supervisors.
Yes. So that army of clerks is being replaced by the robots.
Oh, oh. Graduates will not have problem. Okay.
Yeah. So that is one that is like one of the concerns, right? Yes. Earlier, if somebody was a graduate also from a lower end college, okay. If nothing else, he would get a job in BPO.
Correct.
Now that is gone.
Oh, okay.
That is wiped out, right? At the same time, you have like thousands of jobs that are cropping up in the field of RPA.
RPA, data centers, then
Any sector, telecom. Telecom needs to preserve, let us say, SMS for 3 years for national security reasons,
uh,
right? And if somebody demands that, all those things are going to be like automated. Your documents when you submit, okay, will be automated. Next time you talk to somebody on phone, that entity is not going to be a human being, and you will not be able to tell the difference,
oh,
right? So Google is already making that. So Google Voice, I mean, you must have some of you must have seen a Google Voice video.
in fact, I showed that film also, Google Assistant,
Yeah, Google Assistant, Voice Assistant.
So there's that which I have presented that 3-minute video, which I have
Right.
shown to my class also. How it is.
Right. So all those are basically what robots. Robots interacting with human being, and they are getting more and more, to the point that you cannot tell very easily tell the difference whether it's a robot or it's a human being.
In fact, that Sundar Pichai's video talks about a person wants to get an appointment for a haircut in a salon,
Yeah,
and the whole process is done by a Google Assistant.
Google Assistant,
Demonstrated that, and it talks
Google,
about interactive.
Alexa.
Yes, Alexa, something like that.
Right. So all of these things are there, like they are okay. Some of them are coming, some of them are already here.
Ah,
Okay. What you see on the screen is more of an enterprise kind of thing.
oh,
And since it is an enterprise kind of a thing, you don't see it on your day-to-day, activity. But yeah, like if you are joining EY tomorrow and you are sending a documents, know this. It's not a real person processing those documents.
Excuse me, sir.
I think
Yes.
companies like TCS and Wipro and Infosys may be using this for their new employees now already. No,
Yes.
actually.
All of them.
If you join TCS, you submit all the documents. The TCS RPA will do all the verification.
Yeah.
Okay, that is great.
Yeah. I think we have a question here.
Yes, sir. Sir, what if we found any discrepancies in the flow of that flow
Sorry?
chart? What if there are any discrepancies in the flow chart?
Right. So you are talking about exceptions. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
What happens if the exception occurs? Simple. Exception cases are set aside and sent to a human being. Right. But what happens is we only automate the processes where exceptions are like below 10%.
Okay.
And this is why I told you, while the theoretically robot replaces 3%, in reality it cannot replace more than 2. You still need 1% to manage exception cases.
Okay. But
And
sir, is there any process if we found an exception? Suppose suppose it has designed the flow chart, but later we
Mhm.
got to know that a discrepancy is there. Then what is the process to eliminate that particular
nice.
discrepancy?
Okay, so there's okay. You are asking questions. We will be answering those questions further in the workshop.
Yeah.
Right. So be patient. I will definitely answer those questions. But to give you this thing, what did I tell you? Is robot and human beings are going to work together. Right.
Okay.
So robot is going to do 80% of the work. Human beings are going to check that work
Yes.
and verify whether that work is correct or not.
Okay.
Right. So
Yes.
if we come back to this thing, if you are saying that okay, human beings are going to be fully out of the picture, no, that is not going to happen. Okay, but sorry. Just guys, give me a minute.
You're talking about writing an article.
So if we go back to this level, I told you robot is going to do these two pieces of work.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Collect data, bring it into proper format. But the decision making part of the process will always be with the human being. We have actually one rule when we implement RPA. Robot is always a maker, never a checker.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
We never allow a robot to make a decision. Ever. Decision making remains in the human hands. Right? The job of the robot is to collect the data, format the things. That's all. Decision making, so you can see in this diagram, is with the human being always. Right? And we follow this. Why? Why? Because a robot can also make a wrong decision. Because robot is like a parrot, right? Just like a parrot mindlessly repeats something, a robot also does the same thing. It follows the rules. That's all.
But
Got it. Got it.
Abhinav, here I have one take.
Yeah.
Suppose if you add artificial intelligence and other things, advanced
Mhm.
technologies, probably you can make it more intelligent also, RPA.
Yes. So one of the things with RPA is actually, if you look at it, RPA has one other limitation, and that is a robot can only work on data which is structured.
Ah,
Okay, but 80% of the data in enterprise is unstructured.
correct.
So we use AI or machine learning in conjunction with RPA, right? So AI converts unstructured data into structured, and RPA can work on it in that kind of a scenario.
Excellent. Correct. You're right.
Okay, so we just skip ahead a little bit. Right. This is a slide that you want to pay attention to. It tells you the qualification criteria whether we can automate some process or not. So there are 5 basic questions we ask ourselves. Is the process highly manual and repetitive? Right. So this is a process that that means the process must run uh, repetitively at the consistent frequency. Second, is it rule based? Right. So robot cannot make arbitrary decisions, right, or subjective decisions. So the process must be highly rule based. Third, it should be in readable electronic input format, meaning simple text, electronic text. It cannot work with handwritten documents or images. We have a way to get around this using OCR tools, but that's a workaround right now. Fourth, input should be standard, right? So what happens? Let us say if things go from here to here, column changes, the robot will crash. The format in which information is coming must always be standard and consistent. And last is low exception rate. Only if all these criteria are met, we can automate. Otherwise, we have to apply improvement to process and bring it from no to yes.
Which means that is where you require BPR,
Yes, that is where we BPR comes in.
BPI or BPT, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, right now I am teaching them how to make this flow chart itself. That is my
All right. And that is one of the skills that are required for RPA.
process.
If you can understand a process and make a flowchart of the process,
Right.
then you can do an RPA. So one of the things is a lot of time I guess asked is the RPA replacement for BPR? The answer to that is no, because BPR is something different.
Right.
Okay, BPR is actually improving a process over a long period of time.
Right.
RPA is like automating a process as it is. It's like putting a lipstick on a pig. The underlying process might be shit.
Right.
Okay, but RPA will automate it, so the process is faster.
Correct.
So it will give you an illusion that things are better. They are not. Right? You are still automating a broken process, but still some benefit comes out of it.
Correct. Perfect.
So those are two different kind of things. Right? So these are the 5 questions we normally ask before we begin automating any of the process. And only if the answer to these 5 questions is yes, do we say, okay, yes, we can go ahead and automate a process. All right, guys, we are at 1 hour level. We'll take like a 5, if it is okay with everybody, we'll take a 5 minutes break and then we will begin at 5, 6.
Right.
Yeah. So now in our next testing, I'm going to show you, right, what is a process and how to select the right process,
Okay.
right? So it's like a mini workshop, and now the things will get a bit more interactive. I have some quizzes and some QA interaction kind of a thing. This was what I can say was a bit of a boring part of the workshop. We'll come to more interesting things. Few minutes.
Acha, Abhinav, I just have a small request. I
Yeah,
don't know whether Gayatri ma'am has discussed.
yeah.
Since they are attending this very interesting and useful workshop, is
Mhm.
it possible for you to give some sort of a letter of participation, something from your side?
Sorry.
Can you give some sort of a letter of participation to them, all the students who have attended today?
Uh, Participant certification.
Letter or certificate? Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll give a part. I can give a participation certificate
Right.
to all who are attending, and that's not a problem.
Oh, very good. And there you will put your RPS school heading, letterhead. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would be on my this thing.
Oh,
I
very
have a I have a standard certificate for it, so it
right.
will be on that.
Okay, then Anish, please come to the attendance. We'll give all of those who are attending today will get a letter of participation certificate. Anish,
Yeah. So Anish, send me the names and email IDs of everyone
yeah.
involved, and it will take me some time, a day or two, to make those certificates.
No
But
problem.
yes, you will get it.
No problem. No problem. Anish, will you do that? Anish, you are there? Or Akshay, all of
Sir, I
you?
will do that. I will do that.
Okay, okay. Because
I will.
Anish is not responding. Akshay, you
Uh,
take over. And then,
Sir,
uh,
sir, I will send the attendance list to Gayatri ma'am, and then she will
yes.
connect with the sir.
No, not only that, along with the attendance name, you have to give the mobile number and also email ID because he has to dispatch by email.
Okay, sir. Sure, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So total, I think as we speak, there are 9 students are there. Huh? Now it has come down
Okay.
to 11.
Yes, sir. I have
Okay.
the list of the students, sir.
Yes.
All right. So give me full names like first name, last name, and mobile number is not required. Email ID is fair enough.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay,
And
sir. Sure, sir.
put them in an Excel sheet. Send it to me. Three man has my email ID and everything, and I'll send out my email ID.
Right.
And it's on the presentations also. Uh, Sorry.
It is there. I'll forward. Gayatri ma'am will forward that. No problem.
Yeah. So it is. So all the presentations also that I am showing today will be shared with you
Very
also,
good. Yeah, that's
Okay,
excellent.
sir.
Because
right?
I tell you this
And my phone number and email ID is right here.
right. And last time also you have shared this in your last time
Yeah.
demo lecture. You have given that. And so the people who are missing today, they'll not get the certificate. Okay. So
Right.
yes, only those who are present today will get the letter of participation. And I think some people have left in between. I don't know what to do with them.
I mean that's okay. So
That Gayatri ma'am will decide. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So we are now taking a break, 5 minutes break.
Yes, five. It's five now. 5:10. We'll be back.
Right.
Okay, and then I will just move to a bit more interactive part of things, and we will understand what is the process, what really it is, okay, and how to analyze it
Right.
from the RPA point of view also.
Very
How to capture the essence of the process and figure out, okay, what to automate, in what phase it to be automated, and everything.
okay. Right. Bye. So we'll log in again at 5:10.
Yeah, sure.
Abhinay, you are back?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So I have put a link in chat for you guys. I would like every one of you to open this, please. Thank you.
Oh, it is asking for access.
Hello.
That-
Yeah. So okay. Okay. I hope everybody can see the screen.
Yeah.
Hello.
But when I click on the link, it is saying ask for
Yes,
access.
sir. Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
Okay. Great. So now let us look at what is the process. Okay. So now this is a question to the audience, all of you guys. What, according to you, is the definition of the process? Just give me that. I think there's a permission that is required. Okay. Yeah, request is coming.
So process is in which all the individual activities come up together to get any task done, sir.
Okay, just a minute, guys. Let me give the permissions. Uh, to open the document and right. Okay. So what I would like to do is, if you have got a permission, please type your name here like this, and then what is your definition of a process, right? And then we'll look at what it is actually is. All right, guys, is everybody done?
Yeah, I think it's appearing on my screen. You are able to see?
Okay. Right.
I can see some light blue. It is Akshay has answered, Anish has answered.
Yeah, Akshay. So anybody needs a bit of more time, 1 or 2 minutes, or can we just like go ahead from here?
I think we will go ahead.
Okay, great. So Anish is saying is a combination of various activities involving resources in a sequence. Okay, that's great, which gets original goal fulfilled. Okay. Akshay is saying processes helps an individual to reach a desired set of goals with help of set of standards, approved steps or norms. Okay, just let it read this thing. Fine. And Rohit saying process could be terms of task or series of tasks that are to be accomplished in a timely manner in terms of achieving organization goals. Okay, a bit out of that. So let's look at process. It's a rather simple definition. It is something, right, that turns, or it is like we can say series of steps that turn input into output using applications or tools. Right? Very simply put, no complication. Right? Something that turns input into output. Now these things can be series of steps, or it could be series of instructions. But how do you turn that? So using either applications, software application, or some kind of tools. Right? And remember, the output of a process can serve as input for other processes. Now, going back to it, when I say, okay, sequence, resources, yes, kind of similar words that describe it. Okay, but I do not normally see a word input. Right? Set of goals will always be outputs. Right? Task or series of tasks, they can be think of as steps, but the one word that is missing here is input. Right? Okay. So if you are talking about a process, always remember process will have four things: inputs, series of steps or instructions, tools or applications, and outputs. Now, if that is a process, then what is a procedure? There's a distinction here, right? And normally what happens is we use these terms interchangeably a lot, a process or a procedure, but they are two different things actually. So if that is a process, what according to you is a procedure, right? So let us go back to our definitions. Uh, Anish, Akshay, and Rohit, I would now like you to go below and write what is a procedure. If this is what we're describing as a process, then what is a procedure? No, write it separately, please.
I see only Anish, Akshay, and Rohit. What about Aditi and Satyam, Arma? They are not participating in the discussion.
Come on, guys. More opinion is always, appreciated.
More
And don't worry about right or wrong.
correct.
This is not a class,
Correct.
right?
That's what it will help you for your interview process. You see, Himanshu, for example, Satyam is there. Satyam, you Arman also can talk. Aditi can talk. Aditi, in fact, has worked number of companies. You know, she has worked in media. She has worked in marketing. She knows. She has worked abroad. She has worked in India. Aditi, you also. Teja was there, but he has left. Now one doubt.
Yeah,
As
sure.
all the what they are typing is all light blue, whereas some top letter is coming in dark. What do you call black?
No, we can change the text if you like. You can just change the text.
Text the color. If you make
Yeah,
it dark, I'm not
yeah.
able to see because of my vision problem. Right.
Hold on. No, so just click on this text color. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
better.
make it black.
That will fix it. No problem. Go ahead.
Okay. Uh,
I think we'll continue.
sure. Just let me get the this thing right.
Rohit is filling up.
Okay.
Also is adding something. Procedure.
Which it is. Okay. That is going on, but I can I can tell you, guys, that you have got a kind of a definition of a process and a procedure bit mixed up. Okay, and that happens. Don't worry, that happens with a lot of people. Okay, now I need one volunteer apart from Rohit, Akshay, or you know Anish, right? So one volunteer to ask simple question. Who will volunteer?
Aditi is there. Arman is there.
Aditi, Aditi, right?
Yeah, Aditi. Aditi Jain.
Aditi, Aditi, are you there with us?
Our phone is muted. Mic is muted. Then you can try with Satyam if he's there.
Okay, Satyam.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Satyam, define a simple process of making tea in simplest term.
Sir, simple process of tea.
Yeah, making tea. I want to make a tea, right?
Yes, sir.
What is the process of making a tea?
Sir, 1 cup of water,
Okay,
1 cup of milk,
okay,
2 spoon of sugar, one
Mhm.
spoon of tea powder.
okay.
That's it, sir.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
How will you get tea without? You have to do some process, no? Processing.
Yes, sir. We required a gas. for
Right.
that.
So those things you have defined are inputs, right?
Yes, sir.
Where are the steps? How are you getting tea?
So after making tea or before making tea?
How will tea get made? Right. I want to know the steps of how will tea get made.
Sequence.
Sequence. You defined. You told me the inputs, right? Sugar, water, milk. Those are inputs.
Okay, sir.
What is the procedure? Steps.
Steps.
For example, if you have to make a cup of what do you call plate of rice, you take water, you take rice, put it in the cooker, switch on the gas, allow it to cook, wait for the hooter, and when once the hooter or CT bajta hai, then stop the gas, wait for some time for the heater to cool, cooker to cool, and then take out the lid. Then you get a bowl of rice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Something
Right.
similar you have to talk about tea.
Sir, first
Yeah.
I will heat the water.
Okay.
Then I will add into tea powder.
Right.
Then I will add milk into that water.
Okay.
After that, I will add sugar, one
Mhm.
or two spoon.
Mhm.
Then I will remove the tea bag or tea from, I can say,
Okay.
and finally I get the tea, sir.
You have to
Okay.
pour.
So you are already putting it in hot water, right?
Yes, sir. Hot water. Hot water.
Okay. You are assuming that water is hot. So okay, fine. That works. And finally, so you told us about the inputs. You told us about the steps, and what we get as output is 1 cup of tea,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes.
So all of you can agree that this is a process, right?
Agree, sir.
All the
Yes.
participants agree.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. So if this is the process, then what will be the procedure? Any idea?
The steps that he followed.
Okay. Steps that we followed, but that is a process, right?
The process can be, for example, the tea we are making to serve a customer. So
Okay.
the process might include taking the order, making tea, and delivering it to the person.
Okay.
But the procedure can be that particular tea making steps can be procedures according to me.
Okay.
Sir,
What's
sir,
the name? I'm sorry, I can't. Sorry, just hold on.
sir. I think
Who's talking right
language.
now?
Sir, I think language plays a crucial role here.
Okay.
In when we talk about process, then we have to write in a very layman's language, and when we
Mhm.
talk about procedure, then we have to actually talk about how the procedure has been followed, what we are doing at that moment.
No, no, it has nothing to do with language. Who was talking before that? Customer and everything.
Anish.
Anish, Anish Kumar, sir.
Anish, right? Okay. Anish, you are very near to what it is. So, what we just described was the process of making tea, right? But a procedure will tell when to make tea, right? For how many people to make that? Whether I want to make 1 cup of tea or 2 cup of tea. When should I make it? Morning, afternoon, evening, or when customer orders it? Okay. What happens? What to do if enough of ingredients are not available? Customer orders 2 cups of tea. I can only make one. What to do now? How many of you guys have heard this term SOP, Standard Operating Procedure?
Yes,
Yes,
we
sir.
sir.
Heard.
Yes,
Yes,
Heard? So
Yes, sir.
yes, we heard,
what
sir.
yeah, so what is then SOP? SOP tell see process is simple, how to convert input into output using steps and tools, right? But a SOP tell you who is responsible for it. Number one, who is the process owner, who is in charge of it. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so we also need that information, right? So a procedure tells you who is responsible for each part of the process. Who is responsible for making tea? Okay, let's say Anish is. Then who is responsible for getting ingredients and making sure ingredients are there, right? Who is responsible for serving the tea? Who is responsible for making sure the clean utensils are there to serve the tea? That is procedure. When each part of the process needs to occur, right? How to handle exceptions and what specifications are available for each part of the process. How much ingredients to use, right? To make 1 cup of tea. How much ingredients to use to make 10 cups of tea. How hot the water should be, ideally, right? How much sugar to be put in. All those things will be part of the procedure. Okay, so let us take a little bit of a quiz. I'll just put a quiz link in chat window, and please, if you guys just open it and take the first two questions of the quiz. Right? Just Google.
Sir, could you please put the link again in the chat box?
Yeah, sure. Okay, have you all of you got it?
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So only first two questions, right?
Yeah, first two questions. Okay, I'll just but I have only one response. It's 5-6 responses that refuse.
Yes, sir, we are filling it.
Yeah. Okay. So how many total students are there? Hello.
Sir, we have around
Eight.
eight.
Okay. I have 5 responses.
Okay. Other
Come on,
three.
guys. Simple quiz.
No problem whether it's right or wrong. At least answer.
Yeah.
That is, it's not a classroom exam or something.
Okay, some of you are attending other questions as well. Only need to attend first two.
Sir, the rest of the two questions were mandatory.
Okay, oh, is that so? Okay? We can then take a quiz later on also. No problems. I'll make sure. Okay, we have about 7. So let us look at it. The question. Okay, what are the main components of a process? Okay, so responses wise, uh, we are saying 0 by 7 correct responses. Okay, one correct response. Shared request for that. Okay, so a process will always have input, yes, but all the choices have input. Then a process flow, all the choices have that also. Source application. When looking for source application is same as like tools. So it will always have source applications and output, right? So average handling time is a property of a steps of a process or a property of process, not a component. Assignee is about procedure, not a process. Process is simple: input, process flow, source application, and output. Okay. Second, 6/9 correct responses. A procedure explains a way process is carried out. That is correct. When each part of the process needs to occur, right? When should the process start? When should we make tea? Morning, evening, night, right? When it needs to occur, and who is responsible for each part of the process? So great. Only if you look at it, 6 correct responses. So I think you guys have a clarity now of what is the difference between a process and a procedure, right? Any doubts on that?
Yes. No, sir.
Okay, great. So what happens is if you go to any company, okay, and the person who analyzes the process is a person who we call as business analyst. Okay, so what are his key responsibilities are? If you are interested in this field, and it's very what you call it as a lucrative field, interesting also because you get to know how the company works, really, how everything works together. Right? Business analyst gets a visibility of all that. So business analyst is a person who is responsible for analyzing the processes, identifying the potential of automation opportunities, and preparing like a RP strategy, documenting the process, providing the solution, and assisting team within the insights. Sorry. So this is like a, I'm sorry, let's go to reading mode. Okay, this is a life cycle of a RPA project, right? And the orange boxes is what is the responsibility of a business analyst. He is the one who makes the inventory of the processes, right? As well as do opportunity assessment for RPA. Now, opportunity assessment is nothing but those 5 questions that I've showed you in our last presentation for last hour, right? So we need to figure out which are, if I get a list of let us say 10 processes or 15 processes, then which are the good candidates, right? And we do this using a scoring methodology. Then we make a PDD, which is basically a document capturing as is process, as it is today, and treating like a test scenarios. Since this is an IT project, we are doing development, so we have to make sure there are proper test scenarios. No, we don't have to do it ourselves, but we have to make sure the tester is doing it. These 4 are like the main responsibilities of a RPA business analyst, right? And at the end of our workshop, I will tell you also this course where this course is there. It's a free course. You can go and take it. You can get certified also as a RP business analyst. Really easy course. You can easily get certified. No fees, totally free. Right? If some of you are interested, you can go and do that. Okay. That is basically like the RP journey.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you please tell us about the inventory of process? Means
Yes, sure.
in the start of the itself, we have to maintain some inventory for the process, or how
Right.
it is?
Okay. So it is like this. Let us say you are going as a RP business analyst, right, in an automation project. Where will you begin? Okay. Day one of your job, what will you do? What is the first step? Okay.
Yes.
Simple. You will make a list of list of processes. Inventory is nothing but a list in Excel sheet. Okay. And
Yes.
I'll show you how this is made. Both these activities I'll show you today.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. This is something that takes a long time to explain. Maybe we can do some time later. But these two things at least I'll show you today. How to make inventory of processes and how to do opportunity assessment.
Okay,
Right?
sir.
There's a scoring
Yes.
methodology for this. Right? So we have a now as a business analyst, RP businesses, I can tell you these four activities takes 70% of my time. These four activities. And rest of these activities that we have go live, validation, change management, they take about 30%. Each RPA project normally what is basically, so what we normally have is we have a list of, let us say, 10-15 processes that we company has to automate. Each automation of each process is done as a mini project, and it takes minimum of 3 months to do it with a team of 4 people. So we normally have a developer, 2 developers, 1 business analyst, and 1 project manager. Right? And sometimes the BA and project manager is the same person. So let us say we have a team of 3 or 4 people. It will take at least minimum of 3 to 4 months to automate one single process. Right? Because first we have to document the whole process, take the sign off. Then we have to create a technical documentation called STD, solution definition, how the robot will perform the process. Take the sign off on this. Then actual coding starts. Right? After that, testing, UAT, and things go into production. So we will today, don't worry, we'll today look at how these two things are done. And I will also show you where this course actually is. So let us show you the process inventory template. Okay. So this is how we do it. We have columns. In first column, we have a name of the process, then who is the owner of this process. And then we have our 5 questions. Is the process highly manual? Is it rule based? Is it in electronic format? Is it a standard input? Is there low exception rate? Right? For every of these questions, we have to give a score of 1, 2, or 3. One score of 1 means fully agree. A score of 2 means partially agree.